Hi, thanks for joining me. This is Angie at Chicken Scratch. This is the project we're making today, and this is week 10 of the 12 weeks of Halloween. And you open the box up, and it has some little candy cigarettes in there. I found these at the Dollar General store, and you can get them either in a bag of like Spider-Man, or you can get the little spooky ones. Anyway. Okay, so here are the supplies. We've got the Toil and Trouble Designer Series paper. If you'd rather use this side, you're welcome to. We're going to use the bats today. We've got basic black scraps for this tag here, and then Whisper White for the greeting. I'm going to go ahead and stamp the greeting on the Whisper White using Memento ink. The stamp set today is Spooky Sweets. I have used this several times. Okay, now let's take the, what is this called, Tailored Tag Punch, and we're going to cut out 2 basic black pieces, and then we're going to cut out the greeting. I'm going to take my basic black twine, and I'm going to make a double bow, so I'm just going to cut, that's about 7 inches. I can usually get a pretty good bow out of 7 or 8 inches. And trim the ends. We may trim the ends again in just a minute. Okay, so now I'm going to take my snail adhesive and put some on the bottom of this, of the Whisper White, of the greeting. And then I'm going to add adhesive to the top. And then add that. Okay, that's how we get that look. I'm going to take the frosted and clear epoxy shapes, and let me back up for just a second. I'm going to take my dark basic black marker and color. Just make sure you give these a little bit of time to dry. So I'm going to take the one that has already dried, which is the one I did off camera. And I'm going to add that over here. This is the most challenging part of this project, is actually lining up those 2 epoxy shapes so that they're symmetrical. Okay, now let's go ahead and score our box. So let me get the Simply Scored scoring tool. We're going to place it on the landscape side, and that is the 9-inch side, and I'm going to score it at 1 and 4. I'm going to turn it and score it again at 1 and 4, so I'll say on both sides. And then on the portrait side, which is the 4-inch side, I'm going to score it at 1 inch, and then flip it and score it again at 1 inch. Someone asked me why I do that, because if your trimmer, paper cutter, is off at all in your measurements when you're cutting your cardstock. Let's say that it doesn't measure 9 by 4, it measures 9 by 3 and 15/16. By scoring it at 1 inch on each side, it just makes everything work so much easier. So that's why I do that. Okay, now what we're going to do is cut up to the score line on each side on the, as we're holding it on the landscape side, okay? So I'm going to cut up to that score line, and this score line, and this one, and this one. Turn and do it exact same thing on the other side. Okay, so now what we want to do is trim these tabs here. So I want to fold in the sides because I don't want to cut those. Okay, so snip, snip, just a little bit on the left and the right. This just helps to assemble the box. And so when you're looking at the bats, you want to make sure that you assemble it so that the bats are right side up. Okay, so what I'm going to do is turn this over, add my adhesive. This is my top of the box. But just make sure that your bats are right side up, and you're going to put your adhesive on the tabs that go in the bottom if you cut it the same way that I did. So it's kind of confusing, but just make sure that you, just make sure you check the bats before you assemble these little tabs. That's the only thing I'm messing up saying, is just check the bats. Normally I just say put adhesive on all 6 tabs, and that's what I'm going to say on the instructions, but just make sure that you check the placement of the bats. Yeah, that took a long time to word, right? Okay, it looks pretty good. So this is going to go right about there, and I'm just going to take my dimensionals. And then I'm going to add the bow with a glue dot. Uh-oh, it's crooked. We can fix that. Okay, so there you have it. This was the original. This is the one we just made. The bats are going in the right direction, thank goodness. Okay, if you have any questions, let me know. Have a great day. Bye.